I will share with you my findings when it comes to budget braided lines. As you can see, I have quite a selection here in my post. So I will only cover like 3 or 4 my top ones, really the best ones I was able to find on AliExpress. So I will cover topics like thickness, roundness, smoothness, durability, stiffness, and so on. Also, before going any further, I must mention a couple of things. First of all, this video is not sponsored whatsoever because I paid for every spool of these lines out of my own pocket. Second of all, this will be a long time review because I'm using most of these braids for like over a year, so I know how they do behave and how they last and so on. And also, some of these braids I will compare to top of a range really braids like YGK or X braid as it's branded at the moment. So if you are in the market for a new spool of braided line, I hope this video will be useful for you. Right, I will kick off by talking about the thinnest stuff, because people most of the time will be interested in that the most. And AliExpress used to be known for that all the braided lines used to be much thicker than declared, and really, like in reality or actually thin braided lines to purchase on AliExpress was not possible just a couple years ago. But now that changed. I'm not saying that they are able to match the best braided lines when it comes to thickness from Japan, but it's close. So let's compare the, let's say, YGK or X braid and Kingdom MX microfly or microfly and that thinner braid as well. So thickness wise, YGK still will be thinner. Let's say if I would take PE 0.2 from YGK and 0.2 from Kingdom or thinner, this YGK would be still about 20-30% thinner, like visually. I can't obviously, I don't know if anyone has the equipment to measure accurately such a thin braided lines. This is still the best, I think, in the business. And for the price, I mean, if you absolutely need the thinnest stuff available, like when we are talking PE 0.2, still, I use this myself. And I can quite easily recommend that, even though it's not from AliExpress. Now, let's say 30% thicker, right? And about 7 times cheaper compared to this YGK. When it comes to the strengths, I would say they do match quite well. I was able to get from this YGK 1.5, 1.6 kilos. And I'm able to get the same from, let's say, Kingdom or this thinner as well. So even though they are thicker visually, the breaking strength is more or less matching with the best in the world. Now when it comes to the roundness, this YGK is very round, I mean visually looking. Then those cheap ones from AliExpress, they are quite round as well. They are not flat lines at all. But when it comes to the smoothness, I have to say that this YGK will be a little bit smoother as well. So, and the last thing I will say, or maybe not the last, but when it comes to stiffness or how stiff the line is, actually I prefer stiffness of these cheap ones, because often this YGK upgrade, X4 upgrade, is too stiff when you are using it with light weight, let's say under a gram weight. If you're using this line, and it's very likely that you will be using this line with such a weight because you want the thinnest line. Then it can be actually too stiff and you will get like wind knots and other problems. Not very often, but it might happen more so than with these a little bit softer. I mean, they are not soft, these cheap lines, they are not soft at all, but they are softer, and they just do work, and they do not create any problems. Also, I will say this, that I'm using on one in particular spool, or spool of my reel, one of these PE 0.4, and I'm using it for 2 seasons, and now it will be my 3rd season. Obviously, I was looking after that reel, I was spraying some like anti-friction lubricants on it, but again, over 2 seasons from one spool, it says to me that the quality is decent from that line and you can trust it, and it actually never ever did let me down, like when it comes to braking at random times and so on. So yeah, this Kingdom is great, and this thinner actually matches with the diameters with the Kingdom, but like it's a little bit smoother. It's difficult to explain, but I was thinking it will be the same exact line, but this thinner is a little bit smoother. It might be some like coating or something, but it just feels to my hands that it's a little bit smoother than Kingdom. So yeah, when I need thin line, not obviously the thinnest I can get, but when I need like thin line for my ultralight lure fishing, those cheap ones from AliExpress does a job just perfectly. And as I say, they are like about 7 times cheaper compared to YGK. That's a huge save. Let's say, I don't know, 20 pounds for a spool, 4 pounds for a spool, or 350. So that's great. Now about a little bit heavier lines. And this one from Tsurinoya in particular, it's called Super PE H8. And this stuff is really awesome. From what I seen and from what I tested, this stuff matches quite well with the best in the world really. Thickness is accurate, it's round line, smooth line, and it's actually the stiffness is, I don't know what they did, but the stiffness is just bang on for my taste. It's a little bit softer than YGK lines, but it's not soft. And it actually never tangles, never produces any like bird's nests, or like if you get, let's say, a bird's nest on the baitcaster reel, it never actually kind of causes you an issue. You just pull it out and that's it. And yeah, it just lasts very, very long as well. On some rods, I'm using it over a year as well, no problems whatsoever. Again, this braid is a little bit more expensive. I mean, it still will be probably about 2 to 3 times cheaper than, let's say, YGK. But in my opinion, that's a steal, because you are getting comparable, if not better, at least for my taste, product for, you know, let's say half or a third of the price. And yeah, not much really to talk about. It's just great braid. Diameter is accurate, it lasts, durability is great, roundness is there. I did not test the braking strength because I don't have the required equipment, you know, and I can't pull, like, let's say P 0.6 line with my hands without cutting off or chopping off my fingers. So yeah, but I mean, probably it is as strong as they say, and the strength declared is more or less the same as in those braids from like YGK, let's say, for the diameter. So I believe, you know, that it's accurate. In any case, never let me down, and I don't think that it ever will. So I use this braid when I'm lure fishing and using a little bit bigger lures, maybe for bigger fish. Also, I'm using this braid when I'm bobble fishing, for example, PE 0.6, PE 0.8 is absolutely bang on for a big bobble. I'm talking like 5 to 7 kilo bubble in a flow with big float and everything, some snags around as well, and you can really apply lots and lots of pressure and catch many of those fish. Like, you catch one, take a picture for example, or don't even bother with that, put it back, cast out, hook another one, and this braid just lasts and lasts and lasts, and just I can't really kind of say something bad about it. Maybe it could be a little bit cheaper, but again, that's a great product. If you want a quality braid, this stuff is the one in my opinion for not a lot. And lastly, this is the stuff which I use for my heavy duty applications. It's called Angry Fish Power PE. That's a 9-strand braided line, which is really great for the price. That's a steal. But you have to know, or I must say, that the eclair diameter is thicker in a real world. For example, if you would take like 0.14, it would be like 0.16, 18, something like that. But again, as long as you know that and you need a stronger, heavier braid, that's fine. Just purchase a little bit thinner from the seller than you need and you will be absolutely fine. Other than that, it's great. It's round, the stiffness is correct. You can get them in a big spools for really very, very low price per meter. Strength is really superb, and it just lasts and lasts and lasts and never lets you down. It bleeds a little bit, but depends on the color really. Always try to get white or as close to white color as possible to reduce the bleed. And often from expensive braids you will get some bleeding if you will get like pink or I don't know, orange braided lines as well. But as long as you are buying white or as close to white or as little painted as possible, you will be fine. Blue, for example, on this braided line, it bleeds a little bit, but it's not too bad really. I did not notice that it would be a problem. So yeah, super cheap, super durable line when I need for like ledger fishing, for carp on the river, or big bubble chucking out like 150 gram feeder, something like that. Basically big jerks as well. Basically when I need something reliable, strong, still very, very high quality braided line, I choose this one every time and it never lets me down. And it's a bit from me for today. I hope you'll find this video useful. Also, if you will decide to grab one or more of these lines I displayed in this video, check those links in the description below. But that's it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.